Under the bright lights of the postseason, history was made once again, and this time, it was painted in blue and white. The Toronto Blue Jays, a team that has long been associated with power, passion, and perseverance, etched their name in baseball lore by becoming only the second team ever to hit back-to-back home runs to start a postseason game. It's a feat that hadn't been seen in over 2 decades, since the 2002 Oakland Athletics pulled off the same rare and electrifying start. The crowd at Rogers Center roared before the echoes of the national anthem had even faded. Fans were on their feet, waving flags, pounding on railings, and chanting as if they knew something special was about to happen. When that first pitch came, a fastball right down the middle, the Blue Jays' leadoff hitter didn't miss. He swung with the kind of confidence that only comes from months of preparation and pure instinct. The ball shot off his bat like a cannon, soaring deep into left field and disappearing into the sea of cheering fans. The stadium erupted. Blue smoke filled the air. The scoreboard lit up with that iconic 4-letter word, home run. But before the echoes of celebration could even settle, the next batter stepped up, eyes locked, breathing steady. The pitcher, rattled but still determined, delivered another pitch, this one slightly inside. The batter turned on it instantly, and the sound that followed was unmistakable, the crack of perfection. The ball rocketed to right center, clearing the fence by a mile. 2 pitches, 2 home runs. Just like that, history repeated itself. It wasn't just a display of raw power. It was a statement, one that said the Blue Jays were not here to participate in the postseason, they were here to dominate it. Every camera flashed, every voice in the stadium screamed in disbelief. Commentators struggled to find words. "You have got to be kidding me," one exclaimed, as the camera panned to the dugout where teammates exploded in celebration, tossing helmets and pounding fists in the air. For the fans, it felt surreal. They had come expecting drama, but not this. In just a few minutes, the Blue Jays had done something so rare, so improbable, that even seasoned baseball analysts could only shake their heads. It was a flashback to 2002 when the Oakland Athletics made headlines with their own back-to-back start in the postseason. And now, over 2 decades later, Toronto joined that elite and exclusive club. Every postseason game carries pressure, but this one felt like it started with a thunderstorm of emotion. The pitcher on the mound for the opposing team tried to reset, pacing the mound, taking deep breaths. He looked toward the dugout for support, but the damage had already been done. The tone of the game had been set, and it was set by the Blue Jays' bats. Momentum in baseball is a strange thing. It's invisible, yet you can feel it in the air. After those 2 home runs, everything tilted in Toronto's favor. Even ground balls felt louder, even foul balls drew applause. The energy in the building was unmatched, pure adrenaline, the kind that fuels unforgettable October nights. The team's manager, standing at the top of the dugout steps, tried to keep his composure. But the smirk on his face said it all, he knew his lineup had just made history. It wasn't just about scoring early, it was about sending a message to every team left in the playoffs, the Blue Jays were dangerous from pitch 1. As the inning continued, the opposing team's defense tried to regroup. The outfielders shifted deeper, the infielders whispered strategy, and the catcher gave his pitcher a reassuring pat. But the psychological blow had already landed. Every batter that followed seemed to feed off that electric start. Singles found holes, doubles found gaps, and even the fans' chants grew more rhythmic and confident. Those 2 swings didn't just give Toronto a lead, they gave them swagger. And in postseason baseball, confidence is often the difference between a good team and a championship one. Every postseason moment is magnified, but this one carried a special glow. It became more than a stat, it became a symbol of resilience and readiness. The broadcasters replayed the moment over and over, first the leadoff shot, then the second blast, analyzing every angle, every pitch sequence, every reaction. Social media caught fire instantly. Hashtags like hashtag back-to-back Jays and hashtag postseason power started trending worldwide. Even fans from rival teams couldn't help but respect what they had just witnessed. In the dugout, the 2 heroes of the moment sat side by side, smiling but composed. They weren't just teammates, they were part of a shared moment that would be replayed for years. They'd etched their names into postseason history, right next to the 2002 A's, and the baseball world took notice. The rest of the game unfolded like a movie. The early fireworks had set the stage, but the drama kept building. The opposing team clawed back, trying to silence the crowd, but every Blue Jays fan knew this night already belonged to them. Every time the replay appeared on the big screen, the noise reached deafening levels. After the game, reporters swarmed the locker room. Microphones surrounded the leadoff hitter. "What were you thinking when you saw that ball fly out?" they asked. He smiled humbly and said, "I just wanted to get on base. I didn't think it would go that far." The room erupted in laughter, because everyone knew he meant business. Then came the second batter's turn. "Did you know you were about to make history?" one reporter asked. He shrugged and said, "I just didn't want to strike out." That simplicity, that calm in the middle of chaos, perfectly captured the team's mindset. For Toronto fans, this wasn't just a highlight, it was a validation of years of rebuilding, heartbreak, and hope. Since their back-to-back World Series titles in the early 90s, the Blue Jays had been chasing moments like this, flashes of greatness that remind the world that baseball in Canada is alive and thriving. Every fan who had ever worn a Blue Jays jersey, from the diehards in the 500 level to those watching from home, felt the same surge of pride. The memories of past legends, Joe Carter, Roberto Alomar, Roy Halladay, seemed to echo through the park as if the ghosts of Blue Jays greatness were smiling from above. It wasn't just about power hitting, it was about timing, about seizing the moment when it mattered most. And in October, moments like that define legacies. Coaches always tell their players to set the tone early, but nobody expects it to be this explosive. Across baseball, analysts began drawing comparisons. They talked about the 2002 Athletics, a team remembered for their winning streak and bold style. To now see the Blue Jays linked to that kind of history spoke volumes about how far they had come as an organization. The next morning, every sports network replayed those two home runs on loop. Headlines read, "Blue Jays make history, back-to-back bombs start postseason shockwave," and "Toronto's lightning strikes twice." The city buzzed with energy, strangers high-fived in coffee shops, radio hosts replayed the home run calls, and children pretended to be their heroes on the playground. For the players, it was a dream come true. They knew that every postseason is unpredictable, that every game could be the last. But to start one with such dominance, such emotion, it gave them belief, and belief is what fuels champions. Even the opposing manager, in his post-game interview, gave credit where it was due. "They came out swinging," he said with a nod. "You can't teach that kind of confidence. You just have to respect it." As the postseason rolled on, that moment continued to define Toronto's run. It became a rallying cry, a reminder of what they were capable of when everything clicked. Whenever the team needed motivation, they'd think back to that first inning, those two swings, and the roar of the crowd that followed. Fans began calling it the electric start. Some even compared it to the biggest moments in Blue Jays postseason history, the bat flip in 2015, the walk-off glory of 1993. And while those moments were legendary, this one had a fresh kind of magic, the kind that reminded everyone why baseball is the most unpredictable, beautiful sport on earth. The Blue Jays had written a new chapter in their story, one fueled by unity, determination, and pure love of the game. In a postseason where every pitch matters, they showed that even the first two can change everything.